I found it interesting how the way we take in music today is vastly different from the way we took music in my younger years, which was like cassette tapes and CDs. Like I even remember when vinyl and 8 tracks were a thing. Like I've ridden in cars that had 8 track players in the deck, and when I look at the decks now, and they have big 10-inch screens, some of them in the cars, it's insane to think about. When I was a kid, we never thought about stuff like this until like movies like Total Recall came out, where the characters are talking to people via phone, but there's also a screen. That blew our minds. To us, that was futuristic and crazy, something we never thought we'd see, or never thought we'd see in our lifetime anyway. And yet here we are with big screens on our cars, touch screens, touch screens that control the settings of your vehicle. Your vehicle is becoming a computer. And the Tesla is the prototype for the future, because Tesla is all about electronic, like it's all about electronics. You know, the whole vehicle is like a fucking computer now. It's crazy, right? Like I haven't read up on it, but I know some of my co-hosts have, and what they find is making them more and more interested in the Tesla. People like to think that it's overrated, some of us, right? But I'm kind of fascinated by it, because Elon Musk took our computer world and basically mated it with the auto world. So now we're fucking driving motorized computers, right? It's crazy. Like some of these fucking things drive themselves. I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to trust it. Part of me is skeptic, because computers fail just like humans do, right? And I think it's a lot more sporadic, because we may have improved artificial intelligence over time, but we have yet to create machines that don't fail without human maintenance, right? There's still people out there that we need in this world to fix those machines that we use daily. Computers, cell phones, right? And not just repair them or fix them, but like to build them, to come up with the ideas to build them, right? And that's just crazy to think about, you know? I'm holding a fucking computer in the palm of my hand right now, parked on the side of the highway, talking into my computer. And I'm going to save that audio for later. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. If I'm going to like create a little segment on our existing podcast, or I'm going to do my own thing on the side. I haven't decided yet, but I do know that I had to take down these notes, and I just got sick of typing, right? I get sick of typing. I got sick of stopping my world for that brief moment to type something down, when I can just hit record for audio and just talk into my phone casually. I don't know, it sounds stupid, you know, total first world problem thing, but I don't know. We live in a crazy age now where we can keep in touch with hundreds of people all at once on social media, where we post photos of ourselves to see how many of those people will like those photos. And it's almost like we're it is like we're creating fan clubs for ourselves. And those are the people that I think call themselves influencers now, which is a crazy concept, right? Somebody that is famous for putting themselves out into the world, doing things. And it could be as simple as modeling, right? And you could do it all from your fucking cell phone. You set your cell phone camera up on a tripod, get a little remote, and all of a sudden you're a cam model, right? I'm not talking about the pornographic ones. I'm talking about the ones that like post photos of themselves on Instagram in bathing suits or like outfits that they think are cool, right? And they want to model them and show other people what they look like, right? Some of them definitely are doing it for the attention and for people to look at their bodies and rate them and shit. And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But what interests me is that whole concept is just crazy and it's new. It's just like, I don't know, the last few years, influencers. How long has it been now? Gosh, I don't even know. It might even be shorter than that. 2 years? It might even be 1 year. I don't know. All I know is that I just started paying attention to it. And it just fascinates me. Some people hate it. And I definitely agree that I was a little apprehensive at first when I learned what it was. I thought it was silly. But now it just fascinates me. Right? I wouldn't say I hate it. I wouldn't say I like it. I'm on the fence watching. Right? I'm sitting on the fence watching both sides. Watching people that don't like it. And their reasons for not liking it, which are valid reasons, definitely. And then also watching the people on the other side of the fence that are doing it, that are putting themselves out there into the world for, I guess, attention, for connection, for fulfilling a need that they have inside of them, to satisfy them, to make them feel happy, right? A lot of them are aspiring models. You don't have to find an agency now to be a model. All you gotta do is post high quality content on your social media. You know? Dress up in costumes or different outfits and photograph yourself. Because cell phones have good quality cameras now. You can be your own photographer, right? Whether you do it from a tripod or whether you have a friend do it for you, or even if it's as simple as snapping a selfie. Selfies are very sort of intimate kind of windows into our worlds where people snap photos of themselves in different situations, or even just like a photo of themselves in general. You don't even have to be doing anything. Just snap a photo of yourself and share it with the world and say, hey, how's everyone doing? This is me today getting ready to do whatever. This is me doing something, you know, and they'll snap a photo of themselves doing something, or they'll take a photo of their food, what they're about to eat, what they're about to drink, right? Sharing your day with people. That's crazy to think about that. We never did that before when I was younger. And I'm always going to refer to my younger days compared to today because I lived it, because I went through it. I know what it's like to live in a world without cell phones. I know what it's like to I don't know, to just be out there in the world without constant connection to the world, right? I'd be in the world, in the moment, with all these human beings, but not sharing, not even thinking about sharing these experiences I'm going through daily with the world. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have that outlet back then. Imagine if we had that outlet back then, what it would be like today, because we would have pictures and video and all this craziness of ourselves from like the 80s and 90s. Can you imagine that? If this tech revolution happened sooner, what we would be looking at today? I think sometimes I think that all this social media craziness and photo albums online and people like modeling and stuff, that's going to be our new history books, right? And not just that, but news articles and news videos that have been posted over the years of this tech revolution, like streaming online videos, news from different broadcasting corporations like CNN and Fox News, all posting articles that are happening today on their websites, on social media outlets. This stuff is out there in the ether, out there in the world, and it's permanent, it's forever. This is going to become our new history books. These are the history books that we were talking about, that some of the older generation joke about. I've read about people joking about it from time to time, and I've made the joke myself too, which is that history books in the future, like history books right now, or no, history books in the future are going to be referring to our time, like 50 years from now, if things are similar to the way they are now, and we're all sitting in a classroom and learning about our past in history class, that the history books, if we're using books 50 years from now, will be referring to us now, right? So in the future, okay, what the fuck was I going with this? Oh, back then I thought that the future would be history books referring to today, right? And all that would be in the history books are selfies and butt pics and dick pics, fucking just crazy arguments that happened on like Twitter, fights between celebrities, or that's what I thought. That's what we would joke about. What would be on in our history books. But now what I believe is that there are going to be no history books. There may or may not still be a history class where kids sit together and discuss the past with a teacher facilitating them along. And all they're doing is looking at screens, whether it's a tablet or a computer screen or whatever kind of tech they come out with in the future. It could be fucking virtual reality. You sit down in a classroom, put these fucking glasses on, and your teacher puts the glasses on, and you all see each other as you are dressed that day, but you are in another fucking world. Like the teacher says, okay, the curriculum, the agenda for today is to talk about Abraham Lincoln and where he was and what the fuck he was doing back in whatever the fuck. So everybody puts on their virtual reality glasses and sits down in their haptic feedback chairs, or they might even have haptic feedback suits on. But they all sit down, strap in, put the glasses on, and they're transported to the Abraham Lincoln time to live out what they're going to talk about. And I think that that'll do away with exams. Like, there's no need for an exam when you're going there to live it, to have the experience, right? And then I thought about, like, let's just take that a step further and do away with school altogether, right? When somebody's born, they're assigned another person that's older, and these will be jobs, these will be careers for people to take on facilitation towards one human being as they grow and develop, kind of like a lifelong tutor. And they engaged in these virtual reality experiences together where the person learning, the person in question, is taught, or, well, I guess it could be taught as well as just kind of guided through this life experience, where you want to go back to Abraham Lincoln's time and see him sign the Declaration of Independence or whatever. You can actually go there and be there. You can be standing looking over Abraham Lincoln's shoulder while he signs it, the moment he's signing it. And that is enough for that human being to learn about that, right? There's no note-taking necessary. There's no exam at the end of the fucking term or whatever the fuck's going to be in the future, because they just experienced it And whether or not they take that with them in life, whatever. Do away with grades altogether. Fucking A plus or C minus. All right, get rid of that shit. We're grading human beings on their intelligence, and we're saying this person is fucking too stupid to live life because they didn't make it through school. That's not the case. What I think is the case is this person didn't want to be in school. They didn't need school. Their body and mind was taking them in another direction. Maybe this person, you always hear about musicians or actors that dropped out of high school and decided to pursue what is now their career because they're famous now or for being awesome at what they decided to pursue, right? Those are the actors and the musicians that took that risk, that said, hey, I want to put art out that makes people feel good, that makes them feel happy, that invokes something within them. And I think that's pretty amazing to think about. I fucking went off on this huge goddamn tangent. I don't even know where I left it behind. But I think our future is going to be purely digital and cerebral, right? It may not even be virtual reality glasses that we put on to be transported back in time. Well, no, what if we fucking pop a pill? And then that facilitates this sort of like almost a DMT like trip where you're transported back into time, and you get to see what we get to watch. Same example, you get to watch Abraham Lincoln sign the Declaration of Independence, and you did that by swallowing a fucking pill, or whatever they offer in the future. It could be something crazy like fucking injecting a nanobot into your body that creates this facilitation of education by traveling through time or creating a cerebral experience of some kind. I think that, just thinking about that, it kind of I don't know, it kind of scares me, I guess. I mean, it's definitely a technology that could be used against humanity in a bad way, right? People, there's a couple of things that are certainties in this world. It's when somebody invents something, people will find a way to fuck it, or to sexualize it, or they'll find a way to weaponize it. That's what I'm trying to say. Any kind of new thing or technology or whatever out there, people will find a way to sexualize it, and they'll find a way to weaponize it. Because those are two of our basest traits as mammals, right? Sex and violence. And that goes back to time immemorial. And I guess some of it could be good too, I mean, sex toys for those that can't have sex or don't want to, right? And then there's weapons for people to choose to either hunt for their own food or go fight a war. And God forbid, in some cases, to harm people for self-gain. That's something, that's a whole other thing, really. And that's one thing that worries me for any new technology that comes out, is people weaponizing it or sexualizing it. I don't really care about the sexualizing it part. I don't do toys or anything like that. But even like websites like Pornhub, right, which fill this sexual need of people from time to time. And I think that's another place where social media influencers come in as well, right? Like, you don't have to. You can become a porn star on Pornhub by posting your videos, right? It's craziness. It's crazy. It's madness to think about, right? And then on the other hand, there's people on YouTube that provide fucking tutorials on how to do anything, literally anything, right? Like, I helped a friend work on his motorcycle, and he referred to YouTube to do some of the things that he wanted to do to his motorcycle, right? Some of the things that he didn't know, because he has a background in motorcycles. He could do most of the shit himself, right? But there's certain things that he wanted to do to his motorcycle that he didn't know how to do yet. So in that respect, YouTube is a pretty fucking useful thing, right? And I've even used it myself to change the brakes on my vehicle, right? It's one of those things that a man learns from his father or father figure, right? Learning to change your tires, learning to fix your brakes, learning to repair your engine, whatever problem you have, you know. I'm replacing a carburetor in an older vehicle, all the way to replacing a fucking fuse in your computerized vehicle, right? Now you gotta almost be a fucking computer technician to fix your vehicle. But there are still the mechanical parts that people are familiar with, right? You still have the radiator, you still have the fan, you still have the battery, you still have the alternator, all that shit. It's all still mechanical. We still need human beings that have the knowledge to fix these things. We still need those people in our lives. We need them to have jobs to be able to do this shit because, you know, let's face it, we don't know how, right? If my car fucking broke down today, other than the knowledge I have already, if I didn't have YouTube or a mentor to teach me, I wouldn't be able to fix this fucking thing, you know? If it's a problem that's out of my scope, I wouldn't be able to fix it. So that's all I got to say about that.